everyone. My name is Mark Kelly. Welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation. Thank you for joining us. It's lovely to see you again. If you are a regular, thanks very much for coming back and checking us out. And if you're new here, welcome. Haere mai. This week's podcast, a little bit different. I'm going to flick to my camera. Instead of the wide, I'm going to flick to my camera. The reason this week's podcast is a little bit different, we've never had an artist with one name. So this week's podcast, look, I'll be honest, it's not quite Cher or Madonna levels. But this guy is a whangare rapper. He's been around for quite a while too. And he's been, solidly grinding and crafting new material, which is great. Funny story, I only know his artist's name, so this is genuinely hilarious. Such a good time. The back half of the podcast just... Producer Andrew, would it be fair to say it just goes off the rails a little bit? Yes, it does. It goes off the rails a little bit. Thankfully, we get the train back on course, but yeah, it just goes off the rails a little bit. I laugh a minute. But super chill. Like, holy shit, this guy was amazing. So tell you what, I'll shut up. You guys watch or listen. Let's sit down and have a conversation with Malstk. I can't remember how you spell ballistic. Is it Ballistic? Ballistic?
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue, bro.
No, that's fine. I mean, I'm just trying to get it through my head because I'm going to do this. Malstk from Hori Collective.
Oosh,
there we go.
Sounds radio voice.
Thank you. Wow. Welcome to the Northland Artists Conversation, bro. It's awesome to have you here. I'm so stoked, dude. This is cool. Good thing is this all disappear. It's literally just going to be you and me talking.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. So thank you so much for coming in. I know your life has been quite hectic over the past few days, so I appreciate the fact that you've just gotten back from Auckland.
Yeah.
Hell of a time.
We'll leave that there.
Just dealing with some shit.
I got a family member in hospital at the moment, so
yeah.
He's not doing too good.
Yeah.
He's actually my cousin's father, which is Ashton Upyara. He's a part of Hori Collective. So
nice.
It's his dad that's at our hospital.
Okay, so shout out to
Uncle Bo. He's a strong man,
Yeah.
He's gonna pull through this.
Sweet.
And
it's all that matters.
He's a fighter, man, for real.
Nice, very cool.
That's for real. Yeah.
That's cool. So we're going to do this totally off the cuff because, obviously normally there is paperwork that comes through.
My bad, man. My bad. Shit.
It's, it's not, for me, we've been doing this for nearly a year, which is really hard to believe.
Buzzy.
And we've had some really solid guests on. We've had, Ryan Karaka.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Matt Shepherd. We've had our own producer Andrew come in and sit down, which has been great.
Yeah, shout out to the bro.
Yeah, so you're sort of coming in a nice lineage. Because you yourself, as part of Hori Collective, you are, for all intents and purposes, you are a...
I'm a rapper.
Nice.
I produce my own music. I record at home. I mix. I do all my mixing and engineering. Not so much on the beat side. I sort of source my beats from other bros and But other than that, just a rapper really.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dive into that a little bit more because there's a, as someone who comes from the metal scene, there's a lot of things I don't sort of understand about the rap and hip hop scene. So I'm hoping that today you'll be able to provide me with some answers.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Here we go. So what I want to do, and it's kind of what we always do, is I want to go right back, and I mean way back, to when you're a little kid.
Okay.
And you were running around being silly buggers. You're a rapper now. Did you always start off wanting to be a rapper? Did you kind of start off doing something else creative? Talk me through that.
Yeah, well, that's a good question, bro. I can go back, yeah. Well, when I fell in love with music, it's sort of, you know, it was sort of like I grew up on the Game, 50 Cent, Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep. So it was quite a real dark side of the, you know,
Yeah.
dark side rap sort of music. It's sort of, I believe it sort of shaped me into how I am today. So, but yeah, I don't really listen to all that music anymore. Like all I listen to is local music.
Okay.
Like,
Supporting the locals.
yeah, for real. Like one of our influences back, I don't know, 15 years ago was K54. I'm not too sure if you heard of him.
K54, haven't heard of him.
Yeah, so
Or
they're
them,
big.
sorry.
They're a big rap crew from Whangarei.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they inspired us to do a lot of things. One of the older brothers, Enes, he was one of the Hori Collective. So there's the bro in Hori Collective. His name's Breeze. That was his older brother. So
Yeah.
we sort of had a tight connection between Enes and you know, ourselves.
Okay.
So it sort of helped us, you know, shape who we are and rapping and all that sort of shit.
So the I guess the Game, Fitty, Wu-Tang. Now this is
Yeah.
sort of later Wu-Tang, right? This isn't like Return to the 36 Chambers or Wu-Tang Forever. This is like the later stuff.
Well, back in the days, I was used to, just real gang shit, you know? That's all I used to listen to, really.
Sorry, I'm going to ask a very ignorant question now.
Yeah.
Is that what they called gangster rap?
Pretty much,
Okay,
yeah.
right.
I don't want to say it, but...
Well, no, so it's totally free form. When I do the algorithm for YouTube and it comes up with, is this video for kids? I always tick no. So feel free to swear if you want to. It's totally up to you as well.
Yeah. So that's what inspired me a lot. It was gangster rap.
Okay.
Sort of, you know, I grew up in a small town. I was born in Hamilton, actually. Moved to Moroa. when I
Really?
was
Born
about
in the
5.
Tron?
Yeah, born in Hamilton.
Wow,
Yeah.
crazy, man.
Believe it or not, yeah. So I wasn't born in Northland, but
Yeah.
my blood's from here, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, moved to Moroa at 5. Then, you know, brought up around there until I was like 10, 11.
Okay.
Then moved out to Waitangi for my teenage years.
Yes, nice.
Then it wasn't until I hit about 15, 16, I moved here to Whangarei, so been here ever since.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
The years sort of in Moriwa and Waitangi, were you involved in music? Were you listening to a lot of music, or is music kind of in the distance?
Well, yeah, music was definitely there. I used to have a caravan at the back. I had a couple of CDs that had random as, you know, music on it. And yeah, it sort of had like I was saying before, the Game and that.
Yeah.
And that's what sort of, you know, my parents were highly against it, you know. They didn't like me listening to that shit, but I still listened to it, so it sort of inspired me. I don't know, what got me was just the struggle, I suppose.
Yeah.
In the lyrics, the pain that the rappers of that time went through, and it sort of, you know, reflected on ourselves as well, because it wasn't just me listening to it, it was a bunch of us.
Right, yeah.
All around the, you know, the neighbourhood.
Yeah, because Moriwa is a very tight community.
Very small, yeah.
Yeah,
Very tight,
very tight.
small, but so much talent out of there, bro, for real.
Oh, really?
Yes, shitloads of talent, shitloads.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Man, I look forward to finding out some of those guys as well. That's cool. So what are you? You're kind of at the age of 10 and you're listening to gangster rap.
Oh, 10.
What are we listening to at 10?
I was probably not listening to gangster rap at 10. I was probably listening to what my parents were listening to, or, you know, my aunties. Probably like Bon Marley, Eagles, and all that sort of shit.
Oh, the classics, right?
Yeah, because, you know, I was brought up with not much, you know, things were limited in our household, you know. We couldn't just get our hands on CDs or tape decks or whatever. We didn't have a computer. We hardly had a TV. You know, we weren't allowed inside, so we spent a lot of time outside during that time of 10 years old, you know.
Yeah.
It wasn't until we moved to Waitangi at the age of 14, that's when I started dipping my hands into music. You know.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So was there a lot of music around when you were growing up? I get the impression like the parents and the wider family had a lot of
definitely,
music.
Yeah, definitely. My mum's brothers are all guitarists. You know,
okay,
so,
wow.
My mum, she's actually a kapaka enthusiast. So
nice.
She's always singing and creating Māori songs in the house. You know,
that's cool, man.
So it was always around me. You know, all my life. especially through kapahaka in the Māori world, because
Yeah.
that's the one thing that my mum brought me up to be on a marae and, you know, to learn my reo and all that sort of stuff. So I went to a Māori school, so my English is pretty cake, you know.
I'll be honest, I don't think you're doing too bad.
Yeah, well, I still, you know, find it hard to find words sometimes, but...
Interesting. This is just a question that sort of popped into my head, and I know this is. I guess this is a question I could essentially ask a little bit later, but I'd like to ask it now, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
As a rapper,
Mm-hmm.
and would you say Māori would be your first language and English being your second?
Pretty much.
Or would you say that they're kind of on a level keel?
Well, I'd say they're on a level keel, I suppose, you know. Even though I was brought up in the Māori world, you know, I still had a lot of English talking around me as well, because my cousins or my friends couldn't speak Māori, you know. So it was really just my parents and my school speaking to us, you know.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Could you have possibly gone the way of becoming a Māori rapper? Like, as in rapping in Māori?
Yeah, I could have, man. But I sort of, I ground myself for this too. I always, I sort of fell off the Māori world and sort of ended up falling in love with hip-hop and that lifestyle, you know? So I ended up chasing that and sort of, you know, I did do a little bit of kapahaka myself in my senior years, but it was only a couple of years. I enjoyed it, but yeah, a lot of my time just went into hip-hop and rap, really, yeah.
So you discover the hip-hop and the gangster rap at your, like, early teens?
Yeah, about 11, 12, 13.
Yeah. Because those are really the formative years, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. That sort of shaped me to who I was, really, I believe, you know. Like, I look at it now, like, oh, man, it was brainwashing, you know.
Right.
Believe it or not, like,
okay.
That's why I don't listen to it now. Like, I refuse to play it in my house towards my kids, you know, because I know how much it'll affect, you know. Because that's what it is, you know. It is what it is. Influences, you know, hold a big thing in the music game, I suppose, back in those days. And, we followed those influences, you know. So we thought it was cool.
It's all right. I used to think Motley Crue was cool.
Yeah, well...
back in high school.
And you really listen to the shit they rap about, it's like murder, drugs, and money, and all that sort of shit, you know.
How much of that is relatable? Because you're not... You don't have a wicked jump shot. You're not slinging crack rock.
Exactly.
You don't walk around with a Gat 9. Mm-hmm. How much of that stuff is theoretically relatable?
No, exactly.
Or is it more the story where it's like, oh, okay, this person's experienced some hardship, or they're going through a troubled time in their life, or they're in pain?
Yeah, I think it's more so that, and the vibe of the beat, you know, or the track itself. It sort of gave you that vibe of being brought up in the hood, you know, because I'll tell you that I wasn't brought up in the hood, and you know, it's just like that all around me, you know. Even though I wasn't brought up like that in my house, like I was brought up from some good parents, believe it or not, but it was just surroundings around me, you know. I'm a part of the environment, I suppose, so you just end up adapting with the environment. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now you finish school? Or do you
I left school at 14.
School. Right, okay. Oh, 14.
14, yeah.
Wow, okay.
So I got caught just doing dumb shit at school, smoking weed, fights and all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Then, my mum pulled me out, then put me into a job, bro. Then, not so long after that, I had my first child. I was about 15 when I found out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, then I had him in Whangarei. That's why we moved to Whangarei.
That's why we moved to Whangarei,
so
okay.
Moved to Whangarei to get out the hood.
Yeah.
Try and find better opportunities for myself, and I knew I had a kid on the way and I had to grow up, you know. So I did my best shot, came here and had my son, and I was 16 at the time when we had him, my partner had him, and it sort of changed me too, you know. I had to wake up.
Yeah.
And you know, like from there on, that's where the hip hop started coming in. So that's where I started recording and making music and all that sort of shit. And I haven't stopped since.
With having to grow up so fast, because you've been you've been an outside kid, you've been an active kid, you discover music, and then all of a sudden it's like, congratulations, you're a dad.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's you don't know how to take it when you're at the age of 16, and you still don't understand it,
Yeah.
Like it's such a hard thing, bro. It wasn't hard at the time because you're young, eager, and you think you can do anything,
Yes.
But when you really think about it, all the hard times that you had to put up with to get through to where you are now is like, whoa, there's quite some hard times, but it's all worth it, Like man, without my kids, I wouldn't be shit,
What is it they say? Hard times make good music.
Yeah, that's it, man. Like, hopefully, anyway.
So you become a dad quite young, and you're thrust into the world where you've got to work, you've got to provide. Is this when you go from? Well, I'm going to go from just listening to hip hop to creating it.
Yeah, well, that's where it starts off. So, I moved to Whangarei, had my firstborn. I started up this Young Daddies course. Met a few blokes. I come across this one of the brothers called Ryan YD.
Ryan YD.
What's his last name, cuz?
Is it?
Oh, bro.
Okay, here we go. We're consulting producer Andrew.
Ryan Donaldson.
Ryan Donaldson.
So the bro Ryan Donaldson. I come across the bro in this Young Daddies course, and he sort of guided me to my first studio time and gave me my first software, which was Fruity Loops for my laptop. So,
Fruity Loops.
I think it was Fruity Loops 8 or 7. It was pretty old school.
Yeah,
so I started off making beats on their program first, but then eventually went on to walking into a studio through Ryan Donaldson's bro called Justy, which is another good bro,
Yeah.
And that's where it all started, bro. From there, we sort of made a few tracks. Me, myself, my cousin, one of the other bro, Breeze, pretty much the Hori Collective. So
that's all good. You're all good.
And we walked into the studio and made our first couple of tracks. Then we fell in love with it, bro. So we sort of figured out we need to invest in ownership, man. So saves going to the bro studio. So
it does.
Yeah,
when you can record on your own time in your own time, it's much better.
Yeah, bro. And that's what we did, man. We just got ourselves a mic, a laptop, interface, and got us some software, and we were away,
Nice.
We weren't the best at it at the time, but we didn't care, We did a lot of garage music for like over 8 years, We just did it for the love of it. That's what drove us.
What was the early, like your first sort of foray into actually stepping in front of the microphone? Who were your early styles? Who were the, like you've said, The Game and Wu-Tang, they sort of influenced you, but where did your style initially come from? Because often when we're starting, we kind of emulate some people. And
I believe on my style now, how I rap now is totally different to how I did 10 years ago. So, it's pretty, like, when I hear my shit from back then, I'm like, ooh.
Get the cringe?
Yeah, very much.
Oh, yeah.
But I suppose it formed from my environment, bro, Like I said, we listened to a lot of local music, like K54, the bro OBC at the time were popping off. A lot of local artists were playing at that time, it was healthy. The hip hop scene was healthy back then.
Yeah.
So and that's what we sort of listened to at the time.
How long ago are we talking? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, how long ago was it? About, I don't know, how old's my son? 14. About 12 years.
Okay, right.
Yeah, 13 years.
So sort of after 2010 type sort of stuff, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. And that's I think that's when we first met. OBC was at a open mic night, yeah. At the ballroom, I believe it was, or it might have been Butterbank at the top. Yeah, it was the top, Yeah, I was still young at the time too, and I didn't know how to perform or whatsoever, but I suppose we were all like that at the time because we were all young.
Yeah. What was your early content about? Those early songs. What are you sort of writing about? Are you writing about the stuff that you're going through, or are you sort of emulating the game? And
back then we just read about what we did on an average day, like when I first moved to Whangarei, I was grateful enough to have cousins already living here, born and raised, so
nice.
I just went straight over there, and that become my circle for till today, you know.
Yeah. Very
And
cool.
we just hung out and just kicked it out on the street, playing rugby or, you know, shooting down to play some hoops or whatnot.
Yeah.
We just did, you know, smoked a bit of weed, got drunk and all that sort of shit.
Shit you do, really, yeah.
That's what we just read about that shit, you know.
Yeah.
It was just you know, we didn't really mimic anything, you know, like try and be like anyone else. We just writ to how what we were going through, I suppose. Yeah.
If you think back to the early stuff, you said it was a little bit cringe.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
how would you say? Isn't it always though? When you're starting off, it's never going to come out sounding like $1,000,000. But if you think back to that early stuff, how proud were you? Were you going, you know what? Fuck yeah, I recorded shit. Those are my lyrics.
Are you
not someone
talking about
else's.
how proud I was back then or how proud I am now?
Let's go back then.
Back then, I wasn't proud, to be honest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I never liked my voice. Every time I recorded, I never liked it. I just felt like it wasn't there, you know. It wasn't until I started recording on my own or like in the last 5 years, that's where my voice started developing. And
Right, okay.
that's where I started liking my, you know, my tracks.
Yeah.
But back then, bro, I hated it, you know. I was like, far out. I just really rap because the bros are rapping, you know.
Right,
and
okay.
we love to do it. So
Yeah.
that was all the cause, bro. It was nothing else, just for the love. And,
Yeah.
but when I used to mix my shit down, I used to be like, oh,
Yeah.
I knew I was shit, you know. I knew I was shit inside, you know.
Were you that guy that was like, oh, it's my section, I'm going to turn that down,
Yeah, well,
boost everyone else up? Because I'll be honest, I used to do that as well. I used to say to my producer, I was like, bro, can we just pull down the vocal in the mix a little bit? Let's get a little bit more guitars there.
yeah, bro. It's a tough one, you know.
Producer Andrew's nodding his head.
I still do that, bro.
Yeah, it was quite hard, you know, like, because I had to mix all the bros' vocals too. So,
Yeah.
and I was a new, fresh, you know, no one taught me how to do it. I might have got a few tips from a few bros, but, you know, a lot of it was just self-taught in the garage type of shit, you know.
Being self-taught, do you think that gave you a unique drive to want to get better?
I suppose so. Yeah. I believe I just, you know, passion just lit up, bro, and I just keep following passion, you know.
Yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
Which is, I mean, you know, that I always find that really, really interesting because, you know, there's so many people out there that are incredibly talented, right?
Mm.
And then you get that group of people that try and then go, I'm shit, and then walk away from it.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So passion plays a huge part of it, for sure, no doubt.
Exactly, yeah.
And you don't have to, you know, sound like $1,000,000 straight away, because the more you do something, the better you get at it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, where can you look at those early recordings now and look at them subjectively and go, they may be cringe, but they were what was needed at the time? Knowing where you are now, where you sit.
Yeah, I suppose, like, especially in saying how the mixing was compared to how it is today, it's a big difference, you know. We're mimicking mixes from, you know, back then compared to trying to mimic a mix today is totally different, you know, because the sound frequencies are way meaner now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah. It's just, yeah, that's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Fringe.
Yeah.
I don't really speak much about my own music, sorry, bro, you know. Like,
all good.
A lot of people ask me about it and they bring it up in the street, like, oh, I remember your old track, da-da-da. I'm just like, oh, don't even...
You're like, don't embarrass me.
Shh.
Yeah. That shit didn't happen. It's a rumor. I mean, you know, a lot of the viewers and listeners we have always enjoy hearing about an artist's progression and journey.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, you know, it's interesting. We've had some people that were like in the age of like 5, 6, 7. They were going, this is what I want to do. This is the only thing I'm going to do. And then they die until they get to where they are. And you either stay the same or you go up. And, you know, we've had a few that have gone up. We've then also had some other artists where it's been like, oh, I started in my late 40s, because I didn't think I had any creative expression. But someone who was always around music and, continued to evolve and then transition from listener to creator.
Yeah.
Recognizing that the early stuff's going to be shit. I can see, hand on heart, I can say my band, the first stuff I did, I listen to it now and I go, what the hell was I thinking? Those lyrics are cheesy. They're shit. But I can look back at them and go, you know what, at the time, I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I just made shit up as I went along.
Yeah.
So, how did you juggle everything? Very, very curious to know, because you're working, right? Full-time job?
Full-time job.
Full-time job.
Yep.
Being a dad.
Right.
Finding time to go out and get up to some extracurricular dumb shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Still do.
Yeah. Shit.
And then be a musician on top of that. Was there much sleep involved?
Not really, eh? What's sleep, bro,
Yeah.
Don't know what sleep is.
Sleep when you're dead.
But nah, that's for real though. Like when we were younger, I suppose when I was at that time when I started off, I didn't really have a job. I was coursing.
Okay, yep.
So a lot of the times, I finished at 3, go over to the bros, and we'll just chill it all day and all night until we got something. Then we'll call it a night. We'll do that for ages.
Yeah.
But then it went on to like sometimes the bros will come over to my house. Then they're there for days. Sometimes they'll be there for 4 or 5 days. Wow. And we're just making tracks on tracks, just for the love of it. That's all it was for. Yeah.
Yeah, and because you're writing the beats as well, right?
Sometimes we'll go through and write the beats.
Yeah.
A lot of the other times we might just jack a beat off YouTube. But yeah.
Northland Artists Conversation is proud to support 116. 116 are located on Bank Street in Whangarei, and an amazing venue that you can actually hire. If you're looking to hold an event or looking to hire a venue for a special occasion, 116 on Bank Street are an absolutely fantastic place. You can simply contact them via email off their website or through Facebook as well. 116 have had such amazing events in the past as the Whangarei Fringe Festival, and they've also held the Plunge Pop Culture Convention there as well. They also have local artists that also put performances on, as well as incoming artists that come into the region as well and want to be able to do things like have plays or perform music or any of those sorts of cool things. 116 are also home to the amazing Beagle radio station as well, which is a local initiative that is all set up with some very, very talented people that actually love what they do, and they do it all for free. So it's very, very cool. So 116 on Bank Street, proudly supported by the Northland Artists Conversation. As interestingly enough, you talk about ripping beats from YouTube. How exactly now? I have a few legal questions around that. Obviously.
Shit, my bad.
No, it's
shouldn't have brought that up, man.
Nowadays, I'm guessing it's different, right? You don't. This is, for me, this is where it's going to get a little bit interesting, and this is kind of where, as I said at the start, I'd like to find out a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't write beats.
No, not myself.
No. So, as someone who did very traditional music, guitar, drums, bass, vocals, there's all people in a room and you all throwing out riffs and ideas and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Where does one acquire beats from? Like, is it? Do you go, I'll approach this beat maker? What are they called? I don't even know what they're called.
Yeah, beat makers, I suppose.
Okay, right. I'll go with beat makers.
Yeah, beat maker will do.
But how do you find them? And then how does one acquire beats as well?
There's a few processes, bro. One of them, I suppose, like I said, nowadays I don't jack beats from YouTube.
No.
But
there's a short period of time. We don't talk about that.
But if I do have to write a track, I sort of write a beat. I write to a beat on YouTube.
Yeah.
Then I sort of get all the lyrics and the structure of the track. Then I'll send that beat off to one of the bros. We're lucky enough to be in Northland, you know. We've got a lot of beat makers around here. So
Really?
very much, yeah.
Wow. Okay. See, there's a whole new world for me. The guy that wrote the intro music for the podcast.
Yeah.
I will call him Steve, not his. Is it his beatmaker name? I will just call him Steve. Thank you. I'm sure he calls himself that. I don't really feel like any demonetisation. How many beatmakers are we talking throughout Whangarei or Northland as a whole?
There's a few. Well, the ones that I work with.
Yeah.
I work with one, two, in general.
Okay.
Buddhistic. Shout out to the brother Buddhistics.
I've heard the name.
Yeah. He used to live in Whangarei. He's been in Whangarei for a little bit.
Yeah.
But he lives in Auckland now.
Okay.
Yeah, so but he's a dope beat maker, man. Highly recommend him if you're ever looking for a beat, bro. So what I did was rip my songs to a beat on YouTube.
Okay.
Then I'll send him the sample of what I've writ to. Then he'll sort of restructure the beat to how I've writ it.
Right.
That's
okay.
the last track we did, yeah. So and he'll send me back the beat. Then I'll re-record it or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Onto his beat.
So essentially, you do a guide track?
Pretty much like a demo.
Yeah,
Hey,
okay.
It'd be a demo
Yep.
for someone just
Yep.
to sort of have a guidance for them to write the
Yep.
beat in. Yeah.
Because obviously you go, well, here's the song that I like, and these are the lyrics I've put over the top of it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can you rework it so so it becomes an original piece?
That's exactly it, bro. So, like the last track I sent to him was Aroma. So I sent him the beat. He had to rewrite the guitar riff because there was a guitar riff in there. So he had to record the guitar in.
Yeah.
He had a bass too, so he had to do the bass work. Then he pretty much did the drums and everything else on FL Studio.
Okay.
And that's
Which
where
is still Fruity Loops, right?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Fruity Loops,
wow.
yeah.
Crazy.
So we put it all together that way. Then that's how I got the beat back. Yeah.
Now, thinking about it from a cost perspective, when working with, I don't want to say beat makers because essentially they're producers, right?
Pretty much,
Producers.
yeah. They're producers.
Do you? No, we've had another guest mention this before. Do you buy beats? Is that what you do?
There's a few times I have. Well, I've done it once through the internet, like through an app called BeatStar. I did a collaboration with one of my cousins in Auckland.
Yeah.
Twisted Storm's Shadow. He figured out what beat I should write to.
Yeah.
He sort of helped me compose the lyrics, like gave me a guideline on what to write on. And we had to go and buy the beats off. Buy that beat off BeatStar.
BeatStar, yeah.
Otherwise, we couldn't upload it to the platform, sort of thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Are beats expensive?
They are, but they're cheap in the same way. It depends how you go. There's a few processes, so you can lease them.
Lease?
Lease.
You can lease a beat?
Lease them, yeah,
Holy
bro.
shit.
So you get about, I think it's 30,000 plays royalty for yourself.
Yeah.
And the rest, I'm not too sure how it works, but as soon as you hit that 30,000 plays, the rest of the royalties must go back to the beat maker.
Right, okay.
Or there's other ways you can go around
Wow.
it, you know. You can buy the full rights. Sometimes
Right,
it can start from like $100 to $1,000, depends what type
Oh,
of
wow.
beat it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Or you can, you know, buy the full rights at the same time, get the stems, you know. There's heaps of ways of doing it, you know.
Far out.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that beat we purchased, I think we just leased it, and it only costed us like $60. So
Oh, okay,
wasn't
right.
too bad, yeah.
So relatively cost effective, right?
Yeah, well, $60 for 30,000 plays for royalties towards us, and we can use it for one video clip or two, I think it was two, might have been two video clips. But yeah, there's a few, there's a guideline on what you can use the beat for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So the two you primarily work with now, is that sort of something that's happened over a period of time?
Definitely.
Where you go, well, I've worked with like 30 different producers, but these two really understand the music you're trying to convey, the message you want to convey as well.
Yeah.
And they collaborate well?
It's not so much that way. It's more so we've worked with each other over the years, you know, like
Right.
we've known each other for so much years.
Yeah.
Being a small town whangarei, we sort of just got to utilise whoever's around us sort of
Yeah.
thing, you know. But yeah, so it was just really whoever's there, really. Like, I've even reached out to a bro over in Germany. So I've
wow.
Yeah, so another bro that's in Germany's also done a few track for myself. He rewrote a beat for me.
Yeah.
So I've done the same process. Wrote it to another beat, then sent it over to the bro, and he rewrote the beat.
Oh wow.
Then he mixed and mastered it for me as well. So that was a good thing. Then,
And you'd pay for that as like a package? Or is it a bro that knows a bro?
Yeah, well, he just loved my music.
Oh, okay, cool.
He loved my music, and he was willing to work with me for free. So
Yeah.
we sort of just used each other to expose each other, really. Like, now he charges out other people to, if anyone wants a mix, he charges out, you know?
Right, yeah.
But for me, I was quite lucky. He enjoyed my music, so yeah.
Yeah, far out. Okay. So the two main guys you work with at the moment are... Let me
Buddha Sticks.
Buddha Sticks? I was about to say Buddha Beats. I apologise.
Buddha Sticks. And a few years ago, about 4 years ago, I used to work for another bro called Alkeys.
Alkeys.
He was another producer here from Whangarei.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I got another producer, bro, that's over in Christchurch. He doesn't really produce anymore, but when I was making making tracks a couple of years back, or a year ago, he was making a few of my beats as well.
Okay.
And his name is Bailey Watson.
Bailey Watson
Beats, yeah. And I was quite lucky to come through him too. That was just through Facebook, really, how that connection worked. And it was the same thing, you know, people reach out when they hear good music, so they just reach out and they just PM, give you a drop and be like, oh yeah, I can do this and do that, and make something happen, you know.
Far out. That's wicked, man.
Yeah.
Man, it's such a, you know, I guess nowadays it's very much the norm being a digital medium, right?
Yeah.
You know, you've got thousands of people, you know, hundreds of thousands around the world that you can kind of access.
Yeah, bro.
And you can go, I like that beat, I like that beat, I like that beat. And if you've got cash, you can go, I'll buy it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But how long is the process for you from initial inception through to release?
Oh, it could take from 1 month to 1 year. Depends how I feel, really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been, I got a track coming out soon. I've been sitting on this for a couple of years too. Just the lyrics itself.
Right,
I've written the lyrics for, I've sat on the lyrics for 2 years.
Yeah.
I've just figured out where to get this beat. I found the right beat for it. That's all I've been waiting for, is the right beat. So I put this song together. So, and yeah, it's, you know, that's the longest time it took me to, you know, get a track recorded. Yeah. And, you know,
2 years, a long time, man.
And it took me about, I don't know, a month to mix, I suppose. And I sent it to the bro Josh Lewis. He's another Northland producer as well.
Josh Lewis, shout out.
He did the mastering for that track, so appreciate the bro as well. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's just so crazy. 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years I've been sitting on these lyrics, and I didn't really, you know, I've been rewriting them and, you know, just putting bits and pieces here during that journey of writing the track.
When you're going through beats, oh man, I guess I don't have a real reference, so I imagine there'd be like a playlist, and you just kind of click on one and then you hear a beat. And what makes a beat stand out for you?
I suppose the vibe, bro, what it gives me, you know, like suppose the energy that I feel. I like hype beats that are hypey.
Up tempo.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. None of these
modernized,
slow beats.
Yeah, I like very modern beats, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very into modern beats. Trap sound, a little bit of drill, Afro type, you know, that sort of stuff. But I mean, yeah, like, I can adapt to any type of beat, really. If I have to work with a beat, I can work with it. Depends what the concept is, really. And yeah. Like,
it's just so, for me, this is so interesting because, you know, you said trap, which I've heard of.
Yeah.
And what did you say, drill?
A little bit, not so much, but it sort of sounds a little bit drilly, but the way I rap on the beat isn't drill.
What?
You know what I mean?
The fuck is drill?
Oh,
sorry, I'm going to plead my ignorance here, but trap, I'm like, man, I learned about trap like 3 months ago. That's amazing. Trap is awesome. Then you like drill, and I'm like, is the next one? Yeah. Is the next one tractor bass? I don't know.
Oh, bro, drills is actually not a new thing now. It is it's been
is to
out
the sky.
for the last, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years.
Oh, wow.
Like originated over in the States with I think it was Little Dirk and his homie. Who was it? There was another another dude over in the States that sort of originated it, but it didn't get recognized until the UK adopted it, bro.
Right.
And they started incorporating that drill style of music into their music. Then once they did it, Australia done it, and this was about 2 years ago. Australia started jumping into the drill scene as well.
Right,
and
okay.
now it's all everywhere. Drill's everywhere, bro, especially Australian drill.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a hard question, and it's going to make me sound really ignorant, quite possibly. Is there a drill artist that is a little bit more mainstream? And producer Andrew's shaking his head. He knows exactly what we're talking about, but is there one that would be... Okay, let me rephrase the question then. I'm not talking about like Post Malone or anyone like that. If I was to listen to my first drill track,
Right.
who should I dive into, and what song should I really go, oh, this is drill? No, producer Andrew, shush. It's a conversation with Malstk. It's not your second one on the couch. Sit down. You're being a clown.
That's a tough question, bro, because I do like drill music, like not the hardcore shit. Like I did get into 1-4, which is 1-4 is pretty much the originator of Australian drill music.
1-4.
1-4, they're the originals of Australian
So
drill.
is that spelt 1-4?
1-F-4, yeah, like the F-O-U-R.
Right.
But
Okay.
O-N-E-F-O-U-R.
Right,
1-4.
okay, so the 1 and the 4, we're spelling it out.
Spelling it out,
So
yeah.
it's not the numbers, because that
not
would be
the numbers.
14. And I wouldn't understand that. It's like, they're called 1-4, but the numbers are 14. How the fuck does that make any sense? Okay, cool. All right, so 1-4 are the
1-4.
are the originators of drill music in Australia.
Australia, yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to get some a taste of some real shit, I suppose that'll be the place to go.
Okay, cool. I can promise you that after the podcast there will be some 1-4 that I'll be sampling. Thank you, producer Andrew.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that when we're offline.
But other than that, bro, I'll say this: I don't really get into drill.
Okay.
Even though I do listen to it, I like the style, but I don't really get into it unless it's like Lissy.
Yeah.
You got to look up Lissy, bro. Lissy is dope. Yeah.
Lissy?
Lissy.
Or Lise? Lissy?
Lissy.
Like Lizzo, but with a different vowel at the end?
Lissi.
Oh, okay, right, yeah. It's not Z.
Lissy.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
not Z. Yeah.
All right. So
Not
what
Lizzie.
what you just Lizzie. So what you just said is really interesting, and I'm going to ask my next question be based off that. You grew up with the classic music in the house, the Eagles, Bob Marley and the Wailers, the good stuff.
Yeah.
You then hit your formative years with your, we called it gangster rap. It's gangster rap. The Game,
Yeah, it was
50
pretty
Cent,
much.
Live Rich Die Trying,
That's what
Wu-Tang.
everyone was listening to at
Yep.
that time, man. It was crazy.
What? And we've obviously just had this massive thing on, the hell's it called? Drill.
Drill
I was
music.
about to say grind.
Oh,
But
that's
grind
another-
is, that's a, no, that's
Grime. It's grime.
Well, grind is a metal thing.
Oh,
so
grime.
yours is grime. Okay.
Oh.
But it's drill. But so what do you listen to nowadays? Yeah, the podcast will just go completely off the rails at this point.
Oh, I like it, bro.
But
Sweet.
it's what it is. So what do you listen to nowadays then?
Well,
Because you said a lot of local artists, but is there
Yeah.
anyone international that's sort of really stood out for you?
yeah and no, like, it's hard, bro, like, when I hear music, I don't really search for music unless it comes to me, and if I hear it, I like it, sort of
Yeah.
thing. But, I suppose one dude is probably Roddy Ricch, but I only like one of his tracks, which is Down Below.
Yeah.
I know, actually a few of them, maybe the collab he did with the Baby as well. I forgot what
Da
the track
Baby?
was. Da Baby.
Da
yeah,
Baby,
it's
right,
a weird
yep.
name, but
Okay.
yeah, and that track's pretty dope, but like there's no really like a standout artist for myself that I really look up to.
Okay.
I might look at myself like a competitor towards these artists in my own head. You know
Right,
what I mean?
okay, yep,
In my own
yep,
head. So
yep.
that's how I look at them. Like, fuck, I'll eat these fellas up. But really, realistically, I can't. You know. But that's just how I am in my own head when I'm
look,
writing. You know.
I think no one's ever said that confidence is a bad thing. So, you know, you've got to have goals.
Yeah, it's sort of that's what helps me drive, I suppose.
There you go.
To make me a better rapper. You know.
Yeah.
I sort of have to compete with what's up there at the time.
Okay. So, oh man, wow. It's crazy.
But yeah, you know, it's all love. I just like challenging myself as well.
Yep.
You know, even though I know myself that I'll never have a chance to compete against a high level rapper like the Baby or Roddy Rich, but in my own head, bro.
At the moment, you're crushing them.
Yeah, at the moment I'm crushing
in
them
your
in my own head.
You're just taking a big dump on them on stage and you're
shit,
wiping them
yeah.
off the floor.
Hard out.
Who's to say you can't get there though?
Yeah, well, yeah.
All it takes is one song.
Yeah, exactly. I've been trying for a little bit.
Okay.
I've got like 10 songs on YouTube, you know, on Spotify and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose, you know, like, it is what it is. I just let my music do the talking. Hopefully everyone likes it. If they don't, then they don't. You know, it is what it is.
So what local artists should people check out?
Check out my brother Ekal. Check out the bro Ekal. Yeah,
Yep.
he's been doing some big things.
Had Ekal talked about on the podcast?
Yeah, he's quite you know, quite a, I suppose, consistent artist around here, and he's dope. He's dope. Who else? Joe Pole. Shout out to the brother Joe Pole.
Joe Pole?
Yeah, One Stop Shop. They always seem to be releasing content as well. So
Nice.
shout out to the bros.
Okay.
Another bro from Northland, but he resides in Auckland, West Auckland there. This fella called Des Ryder. He's from Kaitaia there, but yeah, he represents the North hard out, and he's local.
Okay.
And yeah, J. Lewis. You know?
J. Lewis.
That's
Yep.
one of the bros that sort of always works on our tracks. Shout out to the bro, man. He's done a lot for us.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it comes to mastering and that. I sort of, you know, hit him up, and he's usually the man that gets back real quick. You know.
Nice.
So yeah, shout out to the bro. And yeah, other than that, pretty much all the artists in Northland, man, you know,
Yeah.
like that's all I am. I got mad love for Northland
Yep.
artists.
Yeah,
and that's,
absolutely.
That's
We
where
do,
my
yeah.
passion is, you know, is like I got mad love for all the bros that are out here grinding and doing their thing, and if they need any help or support, I'm always here to help, you know.
Nice, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So, if you could give a piece of advice to, I won't say yourself when you first started, but I will say someone that is looking at moving from listener to creator in the hip hop rap space.
Yeah.
What would that advice be?
Oh, it's a hard one. It's a
Yeah.
hard one. You sort of got to look at yourself, and suppose if you want to do it, you'll do it, I suppose. But then again, it's all about dedication and hard work. It doesn't come on the table easy, you know. You got to go out there and work for it, I suppose. Like, not just working for equipment, but working for the knowledge, how to get there and how to do things and all that sort of stuff. Like, for me, it took me 8 years to know what I know on mixing on Cubase, so
Yeah.
it's a long time, you know. And I'm still pretty cake on it, you know, I believe. But, you know, it is what it is. I suppose you just gotta, if you got a passion for it, follow your passion and believe yourself, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
If you could, here we go. If you could look back on when you first started to where you are now, is there anything you'd have done differently?
Oh, they would have, heaps, bro. There's heaps. Man, I would have stopped drinking, I would have stopped smoking weed. I would have, you know, all that sort of shit, even though I still do it, but, man.
We appreciate the honesty.
It ends up becoming you know, good times end up becoming a problem.
Right.
Oh, shit.
You've run out of water. Do you want to swap? I haven't had any out of mine. Let's swap.
yeah.
We'll swap glasses. There you go. You chug that
But
back.
yeah, no, not, you know, like probably just for myself, just, yeah, a lot of sacrifices I should have made more, you know, maybe And maybe for myself, I should have been doing a lot of more promotion, because here's the thing, man. When you're an artist, like a rapper, you got to do your own promotion and try and make your own shit sell. So you got to be on social media consistently 24/7, trying to uplift your fans and get followers and all that shit.
Yeah. And that's very much the age we live in now.
Yeah,
It's no
yeah.
longer the age of the... I'm going to throw a term out there, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's no longer the age of the mixtape.
Exactly, bro. You got to be more than a rapper to become...
Producer Andrew is shaking his head. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
It is mixtape. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like you got to be more than a rapper to become,
Yeah.
a rapper.
Do you have to be a character, do you think?
Sort of, yeah. You definitely got to have a character and some form that the audience like. At the end of the day, you're trying to impress the audience on Facebook, and if they attract to that, whatever you're trying to sell, it wouldn't even be music. It could be just jumping on TikTok and do some dumb shit.
Could be Nikes.
Yeah, anything
on a
really.
Facebook page. Yeah.
Yeah, and people like that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Especially if it relates to them. So I sting myself still to this day for not doing enough of that sort of stuff. But
Yeah.
hey, that's not my thing. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So
You just want to do it the organic way.
yeah, I just want to make music, bro.
Okay, so we've talked quite a bit about your process and your journey. I guess I'm really interested now. What have you got coming up?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at trying to record fresh talent, bro. That's what I've been trying to do in the last year, I suppose. Just trying to reach out to other artists out there if they're willing to record, and I can help push in that direction, really. Other than that, that's musically. Other than that, we got merchandise. We always got merchandise. We sell merchandise on the side. So
Oh, nice.
we do all this stuff for free, like the music and stuff that doesn't pay our bills. But if anyone wants to support, then there's always merchandise there for support us.
Hori Collective?
Hori Collective. So you can go search us up on Facebook or Instagram.
Yep, nice.
HORI Collective.
Yes.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. You'll find us there. If you're keen to support, just give us a bell.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of different type of t-shirts and hoodies there if you're into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, hopefully got some new merch dropping as well. So keep an eye on the page and music, bro. I got a couple of singles coming out this year as well.
Nice.
So.
We'll be able to find those.
Spotify. Just jump on Spotify or your nearest outlet, I suppose.
Hori Collective or Malstk?
Yeah, it's under Malstk. So
Okay.
all my latest tracks in the last 2 years have been released under Malstk.
Now, for those people that are watching or listening, how do we spell Malstk, please?
Yeah, Malstk, Malstk, Malstk. So pretty simple.
Malstk.
Malstk.
Right,
Yeah.
cool.
So-
Dude, thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming in and sitting down with us, man.
Oh,
This has
good,
been
bro.
an absolute hoot.
Yeah, enjoyed your company and
It's,
enjoyed being here.
it's been cool. Obviously, went off the rails there for a little bit. But it's always cool. We never know how these podcasts are going to go, so I really appreciate you coming in, man. It's been
Thank you
wicked.
for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, brother.
Well, there we go, everyone. That was Malstk from Hori Collective. Hori Collective. It's an interesting name. We've had a few rappers, hip hop artists, sort of come through the podcast. Since we started, it's been really, really interesting for me sitting down this time and actually being able to talk with a rapper about things like how do they get their beats, what's the process that they go through. I mean, I'm very, I don't want to say traditional, but I think probably that makes a lot of sense. Guitars, drums, bass, singer, that sort of stuff. You all stand around in a room and you write riffs, and I talk about that in the podcast, obviously. But just hearing him talk about how he takes a beat and then we'll write lyrics to it, and then he'll send it off to mates that he can collab with, producers that he knows, and they'll kind of rework the beat and make that song unique for him. I just found that whole process like really interesting. Obviously, because I'm not from that world. So just to be able to hear from a current rapper's perspective how that works for them was it was really illuminating. I found that probably the most eye-opening thing because, for those of you that know, producer Andrew, he is part of OBC, all right, and that's another collective of people. And if you check out Andrew's podcast, he explains the origins of OBC, and the various names it's had over the years. But what OBC have is they have someone that specifically writes beats, and that's Steve, who is an amazingly talented dude, and he wrote the beat for the intro of Northland Artists Conversation, which is great. So to talk to someone that doesn't have essentially a producer or someone that writes beats in that collective and how he goes around sort of working around that so he can make his own creativity was really, really interesting. It was, probably one of the more fascinating parts of the conversation. And of all of the hip-hop guys, it was just, he was so cool, so open and honest, and for me, got a lot from it. So, cheers, bro. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Gonna flick to my camera now without making that sound, vain or anything. It's not though, is it? It's not, because really it is my camera. It's a little bit. I think producer Andrew's saying it's a little bit, but it is. It's kind of like my mid shot. So where can you, the viewer or the listener, find out more about us? Well, you can find us on video. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Northland Artists Conversation. We also have audio, which is Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. I threw that. Normally I say it the other way around, so I'll say it this round. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Northland Artists Conversation. And if you are an artist of any sort, I don't care what type of artist you are. If you're a person that has a creative endeavor and you do something and it is cool, whether it be tattooing or food or hairdressing, or any of the, music, drama, acting, producing, all of that sort of stuff, any type of creative expression, we would love to hear from you. We really, really would. And if you know someone that you think would be really, really cool sitting in the chair across from me, please feel free to contact us. And you can do that by emailing hello@northlandartistsconversation.co.nz. It'd be great to hear from you. And if you are someone that's been with us for a little while, or if you're just new to the podcast, we also have a Patreon page where you can actually support us. Now, I'm going to be going through and redesigning it and redoing it, because it's something that we want to be able to have to really connect with the audience. So I'm going to be redesigning that over the next couple of months. I'm going to get some help as well, so we can make it look as professional as possible. Not saying it isn't now, but apparently we can level up. So we're going to do that. So where can you find us? Well, there's two ways you can find us. You can go to Google, type in Patreon, that's Patreon, top right hand corner. Search Northland Artists Conversation, create an account and support us. Or the other way you can do is you can go www.patreon.com/Northland Artists Conversation. Find us, join us, support us. That would be cool. Supporting us, we have two tiers. We have the cup of coffee tier, which is $5 a month. Great way to say, hey, look, we really like what you're doing. We've put out nearly a year's worth of content, which is unreal. It's been staggering. Actually, by the time this podcast out, it would have been over a year, which is a huge milestone. So super wicked. And the second tier we have is the $20 a month Coffee Addict tier. That gives you a couple of extras where you will you'll find out who's coming up. And you can also have us ask our guest a question, and you do that through the Patreon page. And we'll also give you shout-outs. I'm going to give a shout-out to our patrons right now. I'd like to thank Lauren Roach for being our OG Patreon supporter. Thank you very much. Michael Boda, who continues to do amazing things. Check him out. And the wonderfully effervescent Maggie Coco. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Long-time Patreon supporters, so it is really cool. I am going to flick to my wide camera now, or the wide, as I should say. Yeah, so hard to believe. The time this podcast comes out, we will have been going for 1 year. Celebrating 1 year, week in, week out of delivering you guys original and exceptional quality and guests and getting to know people. Thank you. If you've been with us right from the start, thank you so much for your continued support. We are just going to keep going, and we're going to make sure that we keep getting better guests, keep continuing to deliver the high quality that we believe that we put forward. So, from myself, producer Andrew, editor Rocky, communications manager Marino, thank you very, very much for tuning in to the Northland Artists Conversation, and we will see you guys real soon.